Okay, so blueprint interfaces are basically a way to create a single function call, and have different implementation depending on what actor or what object is implementing that blueprint interface. So it sounds much more complicated than it actually is. So we're just going to create a blueprint class actor. I'm just going to say API volume, and it's just going to be a volume. So we're going to add a component. It's going to be a box collision. No, it's a box collision named R now because I pressed the. Come on, my mouse is a little janky, so it does a lot of double clicking. It's not very helpful. So might take a couple of tries. Hang on. All right, we're just going to do it the easy way. Let's lock this and scale it up to 2. Let's scale it up to 5. There we go. Perfect. And we're actually going to make it not hidden in game because we want to see it when we shoot through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have different behavior depending on whether it's a projectile or whether it's the actor. So the first thing is let's do it the way you're doing it right now. We'll do a sequence, and the first sequence we're going to cast to our first person. Cast to first person character, other actor, and then all we're going to do is do a print string, and we're going to print out the name of our first person actor. We're going to do it in yellow. Bright ass yellow. Maybe. And then in the second sequence, cast to projectile. And same thing. I'm going to print out the name. And this one will be red. Perfect. So let's throw this in here real quick and make sure it works. Okay, so if I shoot my projectile, oh man, that's important. Oh, let's do this. We'll just make it the root. That should fix our collision issues. No? Collision presets, overlap. We don't want to block projectiles. Now we should be good. Projectiles have their own channel. There we go. So we can see up in the corner. I'll wait for that prompt to go away. There's my projectiles, and then if I walk through, there's my first person character. So we're going to do the same thing that we did here, except instead of the logic being in the volume, the logic's going to be on the actors. So first what we need to do is we need to go to blueprints, blueprint interface. We'll just call this BPI cut interface. And all we're going to have in here is a new function, and it's going to be called, I don't know, we'll just call it on overlap thing. Yeah, and that's all we need. If this function were to have, well, so we need an input, and that input parameter is going to be actor, and it's going to be of the actor class, or actor object reference. And we're not going to have any outputs, but if we wanted to have an output, that's where it would be. And you don't need an input if it's just going to do something independent, but we need an input specifically for how we're using this, because we're not casting to anything and then calling it. This is just a generic function. And so now what we need to do is we need to go to our first person character, and the first thing we need to do is go down to what is it? I thought it was just interface. No? What is it called? Is it under the root component? No. Check the mesh. Like, I don't think it should be on the mesh. It should be just well, let's check the projectile real quick. See if we can find it on the projectile and look in the same spot. No? Oh, class settings. Here we go. It's not under class defaults, it's under class settings. And we want to add our BPI tut interface. Compile, save. Let's go over the first person character. Do the same thing there. Compile. And so now what we're going to do is in here, we're going to do on overlap thing. So we have an add event, and you see it comes from our BPI tut interface. We might actually not need that input after all, now that I think about it. I don't think we need that. Because we'll be able to call it from the, anyway, because we're not using it for anything. Oh wait, yes we are. Yes we are. We need that. No, we don't. Never mind. Because what we're going to do is, well, first of all, on overlap, we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to do print string. We're going to get a reference to ourself, and we're going to print the name. And now we're going to come over to the projectile. On overlap thing, add an event, print string, and get a reference to self. compile and save. And so now let's come back to our volume, and we're going to disconnect that, drag this down here, disconnect these as well. And so now all we're going to do is we're going to say does implement interface. We're going to select our interface class, go branch, and if true, we're going to make a call to on overlap thing message. And it already has a target on here. That's why we didn't need an input. And we're just going to plug that into there. Tidy this up a little bit. So now you can see the difference, right? And so now, when we play, oh, you know what? All right. I mean, it works, but let's make sure that it's the same. Let's make sure it's the same. And let's change the colors to match the other logic. So there's our projectiles, there's our first person character. So same logic, implemented a different way. And so now, instead of, like, you know, if your volume was starting to get more complicated with a bunch of different things going on per cast, well, now that's all hidden away in the object that's doing the thing. And your volume stays nice and clean, because this is all you need. Hope that helps.